morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Well, my guest this morning, Dr. Tunji Abayomi, constitutional lawyer, professional in politics. Thanks as always for coming on.
Yeah, morning.
And sitting right next to him is Honorable Ipola Omishore, educationist, former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Thank you as well for coming on.
Good morning.
Indeed. All is set, apparently, for the APC National Convention in Abuja. There's a sense in which I remember part of a song, it's been a long time coming, but change is gonna come. That was an old Sam Cooke thing. It's 3 years, the first convention in 3 years, and by the very rule book of APC, it's supposed to be an annual event. So there must have been tensions that have necessitated its postponement. Politicians will move and maneuver as necessary, but it looks like everything seems to have gelled in a right way. So all is now set for tomorrow in Abuja Eagle Square. First of all, Dr. Abayomi, let me start with you. It's supposed to be an annual event. For whatever the political reasons are, no, maybe I shouldn't have said that. For whatever the reasons are, it hasn't been so. APC has actually gone against its own very rule book. This is the kind of thing that they used to accuse the opposition of when they were not in office. That, look, an organized house shouldn't be like that. But we are where we are. There seems to be some sort of apprehension in the air that has perhaps been largely resolved. I say that because there have been assurances upon assurances that it's going to be rancor-free, it's going to be organized, it's going to be free and fair. There is no unity list. I don't know of any. So all those things tend to show that, look, there clearly are, little turbulence pockets in the air, but those in charge are bent on clearing the air that not so. Everything is in order. What's the sense you get too, especially against the backdrop of NPDP faction, shall we call it that, in the APC, after saying it might not attend, has now said it's fully going to be represented?
Well, my thinking is that the convention will be rancor-free. It's not the type of convention that is susceptible to a whole lot of kinetics, I would say, because basically our objective is essentially to elect the managers of the party. And the preconditions were set. Applications have been received. Screening has taken place. Qualified candidates have been selected. And where there are no opposition, a candidate, for example, in the chairman of the party has been confirmed, or
well,
you know what I mean. So,
can one say that before the election? Because, by the way, this is an elective Congress.
Maybe I might say the oil of expectation have been dropped on him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yes,
for such candidates, a mere formality. So I do not expect there will be rancor. The problems were before this convention. And those problems emerge largely from the many congresses in these states.
That's
so, but at this level, where most of the elected officials from the states have been accepted, and now we are gathering together to elect our national officers. Usually, in a political party, it's merely a celebration, or affirmation, so to say. So I don't expect that we'll have a whole lot of rancor in this particular convention.
Honorable Omishore, as Dr. Abayomi alluded to, the state congresses, they really went through turbulent weather. In fact, all sorts of parallel bodies in something like up to 6 different states, were known to have emerged. But they sorted that out by saying that, look, they recognize only, shall we say, the existing, you know, party organs in the state, never mind splinter groups or parallel organizations. So that would seem to have sorted that out. But has it laid it to rest? Because, or do you, like Dr. Abayomi, you know, feel that all of these were are now in the past at that stage, and the coast is now clear? And barring any last-minute surprise.
I mean, democracy is all about majority having their way. Definitely, there is splinter group. You know, the party itself was made up of, you know, so many groups. And unfortunately, the outgoing chairman was not able to weld those particles together. The block still remained the block, the sand still remained the sand, the gravel still remained the gravel. Whereas, in 3 years, we should have become one body. So that was the reason why you have, you know, breakaways and all that. And by now, the committee has been set up to ascertain they want to be recognized. And by now, all delegates have their cards. So those who don't have cards will not enter the national offices. So seriously, it's not going to be any way rowdy. Appeal committee has sat, they have taken decisions. So by now, you know, whoever wins or gets there, we just go on fence mending and making peace and give us a party that can stand for election and win election.
And with the withdrawal from the race of one-time Cross River Governor Clement Ebri, everybody seems to be talking about, well, it's just a matter of crowning Oshiomhole, you know.
Maybe anointing.
Well, he's been anointed already. He's been anointed already, apparently. And Ebri just saying that, look, you know, for these reasons, I'm a team player, you know.
Apparently, Ebri wouldn't have been a problem. Adibi Oyegun insisted on going again. That would have been the major acid test for the party. For Oyegun withdrawing, he has taken the sail out of the crisis. So Ebiri will pose no problem, you know, to the party. But the former chairman had been contested, you know, there could have been trouble.
There will have to be fence mending, as you were saying, Dr. Abayomi, after the event, because those who are aggrieved will probably continue to be aggrieved. But as, you know, Honorable Omishiri was saying, democracy is all about numbers. The numbers will have, you know, their way. But the other people still are part of the family and will need to be brought on board so that we have a sort of a harmonious house to get on with the business of running the party and organizing the Congress that's, shall we say, the primaries. We see how that's going to go to determine the presidential aspirant of the party or candidate of the party, right?
Yeah, you see, the APC and other political parties in Nigeria need to do a whole lot of reformation, in my view. As a participant in the entire process, I can tell you categorically that the processes are not utterly satisfactory, in my view. And in some cases, even embarrassing. First and foremost, it is really not entirely interesting that we have so many conflicts, not just in small areas like wards, but in local governments and in states, you know, and so on and so forth, all over the federation. There's sometimes intense conflicts that are simply unnecessary. The other issue is that I believe that the party itself needs to take a good look at its constitution. Some of the processes are simply not possible. I will give you a simple example. You insist that unless there is a consensus, we must all go for election for all offices. Even when there is a consensus, you still have to go for election. The only thing is that you just count. But now, if we take a local government that has 26 electable offices, and now you want to go for election for those electable offices, you are literally talking of 26 elections. You are talking of 26 because a whole lot of people will be contesting for each office just in the ward Then you leave the ward, you now go to the local government, another 26 or even more than that for elections. Then you go to the states and so on and so forth. There is a need to have a different strategy or order or architecture for the purposes of electing or selecting political office holders. The problem of this type of situation is that it is overwhelming in most of the states and local government. And then you find a situation where the democracy is just thrown overboard. Where, for example, you have the chairman of the party in this state simply just writing, putting names in a democracy, basically acting like a dictator. When he's doing that, he ends up writing the names of those he favored or those who favors him. And that also may apply to the governor of the state. The effect of that is that if, for example, a senator is not favored by the governor and he has his own supporters, they are all excluded wrongly from the process. So there's a need to create some level of fairness in the process. I have always maintained that those who win must win fairly, and those who lose must lose justly. Okay. The situation we have now in most of those congresses is that a whole lot of people who lost did not lose justly. We have a situation where under the Constitution and even the procedure, you are supposed to collect forms, fill it, pay for nomination forms. Those nomination forms are simply not available, either not available or people fill them and they are simply disregarded. Even the processes of appeal simply are not working appeals. So there's a whole lot we need to do. We need to make up our mind how we want to run it. We cannot just continue without perpetual conflict in political...
Your comments, Honorable Omijore.
I think Dr. Abayomi is talking as a lawyer, but in politics, it's a game of intrigues. And,
intrigues?
Yes.
How about fairness?
I mean, fairness and intrigue don't go together.
How about transparency?
Transparency is what we should be talking about. You see, we need to improve. The governor is made the head of the party in the state. The governor wants to return again. Come and tell me how that governor will be fair. So what Doctor is saying is that we should look at it again. We should know who should be the leader of the party in the state. A leader of a party in the state should not be an executive who has the carrot, the powers. So these are the things, I'm sure it's one of those...
That need to be addressed.
One of those brilliant people we have in the party that should talk to the party to look. These are the problems. A particular state in the north has problem with the senator. Come and tell me how that senator will have delegates to go to Abuja.
Yes, but
so what I'm saying is that he is right. It's a learning process. I think we have this convention 3 years ago, 2 years ago. By now we will have grown. But the former chairman just sat there, never allowed a family meeting to hold. Yeah, you can even settle intrigues and improve on the family pattern. But now we are doing it 3 years in arrears. So I know that what he has just said is loaded. But me, I'm a politician, I'm not a lawyer. I'm looking at the area of winning.
Even one of the...
must win fairly.
Okay, and one of the offices that is being contested for is that of National Legal Advisor.
Yes.
So it will probably, that person will probably take a large part of this whole problem of reforming, if indeed it is thought that that is necessary.
On his own lineage too.
There you go. So,
lawyers read, they interpret in 2 ways.
Okay. This whole question of internal democracy that we've always heard about, and that some people are saying it's like a child that hasn't been adopted yet within parties generally.
Yes.
One would have thought that as a progressive, which it likes to be seen as, that shouldn't be one of the major problems. But it's been a recurring decimal.
I think, look, we need to define the nature the foundation and the end or objective of our democracy. Let us first and foremost understand the foundation of democracy is in the people. That's why it's called the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But we tend to make our democracy in Nigeria the government of leaders or authority or influential people or rich people or powerful people by powerful people and for the benefit of powerful people. The result of that is that there will always be conflict. Where you have, I have had experiences. There was a time we were trying to elect our officers in Ondo State. And we got people from Abuja to supervise, and there was confusion in the process. And I just said, well, what's the confusion? There's no confusion. Please give me some plain papers. And I just tore those plain papers and made ballot paper. Just tore them into small pieces. I said, look, those who wish to elect, pick one of these, each paper, write the name of who you want. And those who want to be elected, stay there. So
secret ballot there. You just
yes,
write it,
it's secret because you pick the paper, you go to that table, you write the name, you put it in that basket. At the end of it all, it was counted in the presence of everybody there. This process, if we are sincere and are determined to ensure equity, it's a process that is simple.
Yeah, it's simple, but that very simplicity, as has been pointed out, is dangerous to certain interests. And this is where the whole conflict
That is where the conflict is, because if you are not ready, if you are not ready, I remember my letter to President Olusegun Obasanjo when he was there. One of the things I said is that his government will not be remembered for the roads or the water or for, you know, all these facilities, but for laying appropriate framework for future government. And I said, Mr. President, how do you do that? You should give Nigeria a free and fair election in all the processes. How do you give Nigeria a free and fair election? Your party, you and your party must be ready to lose. If you are ready to lose...
If that's what the people say.
Yeah, this is the point. If you are ready to lose, then you set objective standard. Are we going to continue the way we are going now, in perpetuity, at this advanced late age, in democratic development of the world?
Well, that's what Honorable Mishiri was saying, that fine, the ideals are the ideals, but we still have human beings running our affairs, and these human beings have their own interests, and it's quite frankly an ideal, this whole matter of everybody concerned, all the powerful interests, all the big men in APC, and for that matter other parties, are going to be extolling democracy. But as you said, it's not as simple as that. And that is part of the problem. Now, this is the kind of thing that whoever emerges as the chairman of APC is going to have to address, is what you were saying. I like the analogy you were saying, that the gravel is to one side, the sand is to one side, the cement is to one side, the water is to one side, yet all of it has to have come together in one whole.
In 3 years, we should have blended.
We should have.
Yes, the new chairman now has a task of blending and let extraneous particles go away. You see, when you have...
How independent do you think the new chairman is going to be able to be in the light of what we're talking about here?
I don't know how independent a party chairman can be, but a party chairman must be father of all. Blend everybody together. There's always dissidents. You should be able to manage them in such a way that they do not... I mean, by now I'm surprised when somebody says new PDP. In 3 years, where is new ACN? Where is new CPC? Where is new ANPP? So it shows something went wrong. And if he gets there,
if he's the one, we don't know. We can't see into the future.
No, we can't see. I mean,
we have to wait for tomorrow to come.
We have to wait. I say,
we already saw the future.
I'm a party man. Before I got here, I called Abuja, and I know that Ebiri was the only one. And if he gets there, he should do the job that should have been done 3 years ago. Our main problem in this country is actually loss of ideology. In those days, we say UPN, 4 cardinal points. MPN, 1 Nigeria. Today, we have lost ideology. In fact, at times I'm not proud to be APC. When I just discovered that, you know.
Which is a very serious admission to make.
There are more of those we criticize in our midst than us. They lead us. You know, so at the end of the day, we just belong to party because we like to go there. It's like going to church. At times we don't like the sermon, but you must go and worship God. It has got to that extent that you cannot say, I beat my chest, my party is of this ideology. And that's a problem for this country. Until we have parties based on ideology, I know Dr. Abayomi will not go to certain group of people. But today is in that group. It's in a party where those he doesn't like are there. I am in a party where those I criticize every day are there. In fact, when I'm an analyst, at times when I talk, I cover my face in shame.
But this is a problem. This is really a problem for the ruling party, this question that Honorable Omishere has brought up, where you can't say with certainty that this party stands for this. There's a mixing of values, you know. Today we have a situation largely due to the party itself, because people who are APC can be called APC, where you have the opposition as the Deputy Senate President, for example. And that wasn't done by accident. That was, you know, done internally. Now, I suppose my curiosity is that the forces that, as Honorable Omishere says, did not enable, you know, the former chairman to blend everything together. Those forces, what kind of, what stock would you place on the ability of a new chairman coming on board tomorrow being able to handle? In other words, what was it that the former chairman couldn't do that we think this one will be able to do?
Look, the point is this. I'm not so much worried about this issue of ideology. Yes, it is essential for a political party to have ideology. But I think that's really largely external.
Okay.
It's largely external to the working of a political party, in my view. In my view, the same neuroses that beset this nation in various departments is the same neurosis that is affecting political parties.
One moment, sir. One moment, sir.
Yes.
MC in Owerri, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, good morning, panelists. Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning.
Okay. So my contribution is this. For anybody to be blaming Oyegu, he did what he didn't do and what he should have done and what he will do and what the new person will do. It's absolutely not true. What was the foundation of the party at the issue? Do you think Oyegu will tell the new MPDP they are talking about now what to do against their wishes? Do you think that Oyegu will say what the presidency will do to the new MPDP? It is not possible. There is no way he can galvanize all these factions. Even up to now, the president himself has not been able to galvanize them up to now, talk of Oyegu. Indeed, the only thing that will happen to Shomole is this. By the time he gets there, this election, the party will help him to prune off all the new PDP or prune them to graft in them to the APC for him to work effectively. If not, there is no way. The stumbling block remains there. That is the only thing. But for one to blame Oyegu for not doing it, not doing convention for 3 years, he is not to be blamed. What has the presidency, the executive have been doing in order to galvanize the party all this while? So please, let them allow him today and leave Oshomo. Let's see how he's going to manage it. If the presidency will also help him to, prune the party, it will not work. It's not a magic. Because they are dealing with people that have ulterior motive before they come together to form this party. So that will definitely play out. So if they're not getting what they want, they will still cause problem one way or the other. That's my condition. Thank you, Uncle Yeri.
Thank you, MC. Evaluate that comment
I think
or commentary.
I think what he said is partly true. All I know is that if you feel unsafe, it pays you to have a broken family. So that anytime you have crisis, you can call brother from another mother, come and support me. That is what happened in the last 3 years. Had it been, the chairman was confident, he was not threatened, he feels safe, he will have been able to blend them together. But nevertheless, he's a human being and he's managing difficult people. We politicians are trouble. We are difficult to manage. So he has done his best. As he said, the president too is the leader of the party. He must be forthcoming. He has slept for too long and allowed the party to go asleep or go astray.
Well.
So as the president of Nigeria, as the head of APC, he must be seen to do more and be more affirmative. He's been playing, I don't care what is going on in the party.
But that's going to, isn't that going to be a fine sort of a balance before it is said that the president is not allowing the party to function?
You are neither balancing it nor doing anything.
Okay. So, Yakub in Dokpemu, good morning.
Good
morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
And good morning to your guests in the studio.
Morning.
And Dr. Abayomi, good morning, sir.
Morning.
And the Honorable.
Morning, sir.
You see, the Honorable made a valid point earlier that in 3 years, you have still heard some people say no BTP, no PDP. That means that when they are coming to the party, they are not coming to the party with their whole heart. That's number one. Number two, with due respect to the last caller, if you are elected as a chairman of the party, the primary responsibility of a chairman of a party is to make sure that the party is together. In 3 years or more than that, the party have never been holding any reasonable committee or a meeting, except this one that is coming tomorrow. You know, if the other have been saying is that I expect this chairman to go out earlier than this. But thank God, tomorrow is the D-Day. And then Mr. President has made mistakes. And then I am very, very sure that it has learned hardly with the mistake that he made earlier in the inauguration day, that I can work with anybody. See, if Mr. President made that mistake that I can work with anybody, the mistake is the one that is still haunting us up to today. Because you called the meeting when the election is supposed to hold in the National Assembly. And then today we find ourselves where we find ourselves. I know Oshiomhole have a team. He has a lot of things to do. Because before now he should be going around to reconcile the aggrieved party. The Tinubu Reconciliation Committee, they have never given him free hand to work or unite the party. Let me give you a typical example quickly. In Adamawa State, look at what the governor of Adamawa State did. The political gladiator in that very particular state, he shut all of them out. Likewise, in Kaduna State, I can go on and go on and go on. Even though the senator from the Kaduna in person of Senator Shehu Sani, which I believe I respect him so much then, before now, because he is a human rights activist like Dr. Abayomi in the studio, which I believe if Dr. Abayomi have the opportunity that Senator Shehu Sani have to become a senator in this country, he will never begin to keep.
Okay, Yakub. Okay, tell you what, I got to go on a quick break. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to continue with this conversation. Okay, welcome back. APC National Convention is set for tomorrow. According to all accounts, it's really going to be a sort of a rubber stamp of what is being widely seen as Oshiomhole is going to be the chairman. But then tomorrow has not come yet. We have to wait for tomorrow, but that's just the way it is. Now, we're looking at how these things evolve, and one of the more interesting points is that if we intend to be fair about any of the elections we conduct, those that are in charge, especially if they have influence, political leaders or whatever, have to be prepared to lose if that is what the ballot says. But a disinclination to consider that possibility and, quite frankly, to say it the way it is, to protect my interests so that I cannot reasonably or possibly lose. That is what is distorting the whole equilibrium of political openness, right? And where we are at now, it doesn't matter what the political party is. That seems to be the role of the day.
Yes, that's really the heart of our problem. The tendency is not just a question of wanting to win, but to win at all costs. That's the heart of it.
President Obasanjo famously said, a do-or-die affair.
Yes, that's the heart of it. And the effect of that is that every effort is made, including several wrong efforts, in order to secure victory. Sometimes it's not even necessary. The anxiety, which is, I think is a philosopher said, anxiety is twice as grievous as anything that causes it. Sometimes it's just even, the cause is not even serious. People just develop anxiety, particularly in the States. And in that scenario, they begin to build a conference around themselves that excludes other people that have similar interests or that should be accommodated under democracy. And it is also the same thing that leads to the army, army of supporters, sometimes thugs, in order to ensure that you win at all costs. Look at what that guy was saying. That was this of a robbery. Yes. What he was talking about, that guns were given to them, and what is your job? Your job is to enjoy that will make it possible, so to say. So unless we find a way to ensure that the standard of democracy accommodates victory and failure, and ensure that the leaders are subjected to that standard, we're not going to make a progress.
I will give leaders profess to be Democrats. But
yes.
One moment, I have our man Ayo Zubako, who is in Abuja at the, I believe, at the APC headquarters. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning, Yori.
Okay. Okay. So, how are preparations? According to all reports, everything is set for tomorrow.
Just all is set, Yori. It's going to be a very difficult exercise for the All Progressive Congress. Having to grapple with over 6,000 delegates, 6,800 to be precise.
Do you think it's going to be difficult?
All hotels around the town in Abuja.
Did you say difficult, Ayo?
It's the process of accrediting these delegates will start around 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
And what they've just done is that for those states, they are expecting 36 states, including the Federal Capital Territory. So what they will do is that the accreditation of delegates will commence at 7 a.m. and they've chosen 7 centers for each of these states to go to, and those centers, they've indicated it. Especially what they did was that states that are controlled by the All Progressive Congress, and which is 24, and states that are not controlled by the All Progressive Congress. In terms of security, already, you have at the Eagle Square right now, everything. You can feel the presence of security. I was even told earlier that the security from the villa, they've taken over the security arrangement because Mr. President is going to be there tomorrow, and it's going to be really, really, journalists are even having tough times, getting their accreditation process through. So all is set for tomorrow, and they are hoping that the governors from these geopolitical zones are actually meeting with the aspirants, trying to reach a consensus so that the process will be less cumbersome. For the chairman, the coast is clear. For Adams, former Edo State Governor, that's Adams Ali Oshomole, because the Clement Ebiri stepped down yesterday. So it's not going to be rancorous for the chairman. For other positions, I was told that the people that are going to vie for other positions, they are up to 167. And if 167 people are vying for 42 available positions, Yori, the process is going to be cumbersome and it will be keenly contested, and it might just span till Sunday if care is not taken. So what the governors are trying to do, horse trading, give, take, and trying to convince some people, step down for these people so that we have something they hate to refer to as a unity list, but a kind of consensus arrangement.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much, Ayo. That's as comprehensive as we need at this moment. Thank you very much for that overview of how it is in Abuja right now. And especially, well, it's like the chairmanship is a done deal. But then he said up to 167. People were even thinking of 164, but he's there, so he's probably seen some papers. Up to 167 other offices that are being vied for, let me not say being wrangled over, being vied for. So the extent...
there will be about, is it 20? I think there are about 40 offices or something.
He said for about 42. He said 42, about 42
yes.
Positions, 167 people vying for those offices. And consultations are ongoing even as we speak, meetings here and there, all to make sure it is, as has been put, rancor-free. And hopefully, he was even saying that it might even extend into the following day, Sunday, because there's a lot of work to be done. And all eyes are going to be on APC.
The complication is that, offices have been zoned to the various geopolitical areas. Within each zone, or geopolitical zones, within each zone, you also have to compete for the offices that are zoned to your zone, okay? And the competitors for the offices that are zoned to your zone are from different states. For example, if we take legal advisor, national legal advisor, assuming that is zoned to Southwest, it will mean that all the states in Southwest, they are vying for it, unless they can reach a consensus. And those states may be interested, or you may be interested, or Osun may be interested. Yes. You understand what I mean?
Ogala is interested from Lagos.
Ogala is interested from Lagos. Unless they have... Now, and even if where, for example, all the electable offices are zoned to that particular, and they have been distributed, for example, to the states. For example, in Southwest, if we have something like about 10 essential political offices and maybe 5 additional electable political offices, we may have distributed these political offices to different states. Even in those states, you may have a situation where you have more than one aspirant. You understand what I mean?
Indeed.
So, sometimes it's difficult to avoid conflict.
Okay, one moment, please. Balogun in Warri, good morning. Thank you for holding on. Balogun, I thought you were there. Balogun in Warri, Delta State. Well, he's not there.
I was actually to say something.
Yes.
That taking out glamour out of political office will really help in reformation of the mind of office holders and those even combating to get it.
To be cynical about the point you are making, sir, to be a bit cynical about the point you're making, isn't this all about wanting to go and serve?
It's beyond that.
I want to go and serve.
It's beyond that.
That's why they're killing themselves.
It's beyond that. I have been honorable for 8 years, and I know what I was. I thought I was a giant.
Yes.
Until I left. Now that I know, so I'm not more than this. So people give me undue honor. I myself carry myself, you know, and I get things done. Too many largesse.
Too many perks.
Too many things.
Too many personal advantages.
Don't you know I'm a senator? And the whole world cleared the way for you.
So
but a day will
it's
come
not about service.
When you that distinguish, we just be in your pocket. So if we take away all the things, if some of these systems are part-time, why do you go there to go and sleep? You see them sleeping off. Because they are tired. But they want to go there. A governor of 8 years, his main ambition is to go to Senate. Why?
Chinedu in Ajawa State, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my brother. You see, one thing is this. I am not APC, but I don't belong to any political party. Are you hearing me?
Shouldn't you belong to one political party or the other?
I will soon. I'm still watching. I'm studying. But one thing is this: I will advise APC. Oshomole has no managerial ability. If Oshomole happens to emerge the chairman, if Oshomole happens to emerge the chairman of APC, APC is already in crisis. He's going to destroy APC. I'm telling you the truth. That man he's a hot-tempered man. He doesn't know. Forgetting that he emerged as the governor of those states, he was helped. Just because APC is in the head. If Oshomole emerged the chairman of APC, putting together with the crisis that APC is facing, Oshomole.
Okay, I think we lost you, but I was going to ask if this analysis was based on some objective study that you had made, but I didn't get the chance.
I want to disagree with him that a labor leader managing all these stewards who are radicals cannot manage a political
labor
party.
Leader who has then been a governor for 8 years.
The Nigerian Labour Congress is a political party itself. If you can manage it successfully, and one of the reasons why he became governor was the fame he gained in managing radicals. So I reckon he can do it. All he needed to do is to forget his own base. If it's ACN, he should forget his ACN. He should just come with a clear brain and be able to accommodate and build a structure that is already, hardened to build. Because, at the beginning they were soft, but by now everybody's hardened, everybody's aggressive.
Mukhtar in Kano, good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Good morning, Mukhtar. Please go ahead.
Let me just contribute on this National Convention of APC. You see, it is not conducting the convention that matters, but the outcome of the convention is what matters.
Yes.
The aggrieved people or the aggrieved group whom Mr. President said he would not see, he should remember history, that the same thing happened to PDP during Jonathan. When he refused to listen to those 5 governors, the result was PDP was down. So it is a political suicide for Mr. President to say he will not listen to them. In politics, a single number counts. Because once that convention has been concluded, the outcome may be very suicidal to APC. Because I am sure the great numbers will dump APC for another party, because you cannot bite the fingers that fed you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling in. Let's look at that. How weighty a point do you think that is, Dr. Abayomi? Because the NPDP within the APC thinks that it was pivotal in ensuring victory for the party, and it doesn't feel that it's getting a fair shake in the way things are being sort of distributed within the party. And now the president has said that, look, maybe, I don't know what the president's wisdom was, maybe if, he's decided that it wouldn't be productive to meet with them. But you just heard Mukhtar's commentary. How do you see it?
Well, I think ultimately there will be a dialogue. That's my thinking. And I think that the president will be crucial and essential in this process. But I do agree with, Honorable, that one of the failures of the chairman, the outgoing chairman, is his inability to bring the different factions in the party together to form a whole. A house that is divided against itself will have a problem standing against an aggressor, so to say. I think this is really where we are today. One of the areas Oshiomhole will have to work hard on, there are 2 principal areas he needs to work on, in my view. He would have to work hard to ensure that he creates some level of unity within the party. There are too many factions and too much antagonism within the party, firstly. The second area is that he needs to work on an orderly internal democracy that does not give undue advantage to some or throw away do rights to others. Okay. He will have to do that.
Okay. One moment, sir. Akin in the UK, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Please go ahead.
Good morning to Dr. Abayemi and
good morning.
Honorable Omishore.
Good morning.
I just have a little contribution towards this debate. And in my innermost thoughts, I was thinking about the process of having this convention, because basically I don't see it as an original idea of the Nigerian political system. I see it as a borrowed system. So, and the problem with such systems is that when you don't breed them naturally, you understand me, they fail to deliver in the real essence of it, because it's not an ideological, it's not an ideological breed from our own point of political process. In the democratic process, we should have also our own ideas of how our political system should work. Having an American system within a Nigerian context, you understand, does not carry any effect, because all that you're doing is borrowing a system that you yourselves don't understand. And this is one of the problems that I think we have within the political landscape of Nigeria, because we haven't yet come to the understanding that we need to breed our own political system. According to a Nigerian context, you don't go around the world, if you go to Greece, you don't see them borrowing the American system. They have their own system of government. Go to Italy, look at it, even though it's democratic, but still they have a political system that is Italian, not American. So if you see, and you know, it begs, when I look at it, I look at the cumbersomeness. Look at what Ayo was saying. It's going to be very hard. Well, why do we need to go through all this process just because we want to have delegates and all this stuff? If we had our own process, we would have something concrete on ground and we can use. The other also bit is that I agree with Dr. Abayomi on the issue of the kind of internal politics we are meant to have in Nigeria. I see him as a man of intellectual capacity that even the APC should, consult with and give him the platform to, show the way.
Okay then, Ayo in the UK, thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate your call. Well, Ayo is sort of stepping back and taking a bird's eye view of why we are where we are at, and it's because we haven't been able to evolve our own political philosophy. It's maybe, well, this is the kind of thing that dawns, in the university, in the ivory tower, will probably be able to look at. It's beyond the scope of this kind of a program, because we do have what we have, and that's what we're going to have to work with. But it was an opinion that he brought about, and I suppose it's been noted.
But you see, the National Assembly would have been absolutely essential in helping this nation to emerge appropriately, and that is by framing. I've said it again.
Well, the National Assembly as an intellectual construct,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Because
as an intellectual construct.
Exactly. Because the people that are peopling, those that are peopling the National Assembly actually detract from that intellectual construct of what it should be.
Yes, and preoccupied with the interest of the nation and her people, its stability, and imbued with the greatness, a vision of greatness of a nation, which was what challenged and charged the 55 people that constructed the American Constitution. Dr. Quinn, the French philosopher, he said 55 of the greatest minds in the world, in human history, they came together. And they were determined to create the greatest nation on earth.
So that goes back to Akin's point.
Yes.
Let me quickly, before I come to you, sir, let me bring in Mazi Okoroafo. Good morning in Abia.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, our delegates. Our guests in the studio. Honestly speaking, the delegates should vote for people that will move the party forward. Just as people with integrity, they should ensure people that are ready to deliver their states. And all the delegates try as much as ensure what we call money politics. As the delegates, they should know that 2019 starts from Saturday election. The determinants of 2019 is from tomorrow. So the delegates that are there, they should do their homework properly. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Lagos. Happy weekend.
Thank you, Mazi Okoroafo. that whole question about a lack of our own indigenous political system,
Actually, before I go there, I want to support Doctor on the way forward, because Oshiomhole has another additional function to do, and that one is to let the National Assembly know that the APC National Assembly know, toe the line of the party. They should not be the one antagonizing their president. If they have been carried along, this is what the party want to do. In the situation whereby it is a majority party in parliament giving headache to their president, it shows an uncoordinated leadership where the party does not carry, before they even talk about anything, at the party level should have been resolved.
Indeed.
Oshiomhole must do that, otherwise he has no business going there.
Reverend Dominic in Alimosho, good morning. You're our last caller. We lost Reverend Dominic, unfortunately.
So on a serious note, a local brand, even when you study economics, they say applied economics. It's not just economics for economics' sake, economics to the situation. So the earlier we start to look at our local brand, that will cost us less. Look at the number of aids. Look at what they are spending in Abuja. Look at their budget, greater than the budget of a whole state, less than 500 people. 30-something House of Rep, under 100 senators. They are spending more than a whole state. For what for?
Well, so
we should look at our local brand, reduce cost of governance, reduce all these things that are American. Americans are rich, they are organized.
But again, let us affirm that it is not just in the National Assembly alone that we need to really take a new look. We need to even take a new look at the executive branch of government. We need to take a look, comprehensive look. But that can only be possible when the people of Nigeria, and usually when we talk of people of Nigeria, it's not that all the people will gather together, but the leaders must be eagle-eyed. The leaders must have great vision of a nation. The leaders must be selfless to bring about a new age for any nation. I mean, it's not just, anything goes or you are preoccupied with money and so on and so forth, which is really the essentiality that we find in most of the leadership of this country. Well, in those days in which our fathers, the age of the past times, when they were preoccupied, there was rivalry for development, for greatness of the nation. When Awolowo was thinking of building the first television station in Nigeria, primary education, Aziko, and they were rivalry. They had ideals of government, great ideas and vision. And that was their preoccupation. And they found a way. But where is that age now?
Indeed. Well, those are going to be that in essence will be the task before whoever emerges tomorrow. Everybody seems to say that they don't need to be a soothsayer. They know who is going to emerge tomorrow. But it's not just about the chairman. There are other offices as well. So it's going to be, Ayo was pointing out that it's going to be a long grind because this whole emphasis on transparency, free and fair, the organizers are going to be at great pains to show that, because this is the first election in 3 years, and I guess we'll be covering all of that live, so the whole nation will be glued to it. And thank you very much for coming on, gentlemen, and giving us your perspectives on the whole concept of leadership. And as Mazi Okora pointed out, the whole race for 2019 actually begins tomorrow with the setting up of the executive of the ruling party, APC. Thank you very much, Dr. Tunji Abayomi. And thank you, Honorable Ipola Omishori. My pleasure that you came on. Okay, so that's our program. That's the last one for the week. We'll be together again, God willing, on Monday. That's the next program, 10:30 in the morning. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.